Mechanisms can be found with creative minds and well-thinking people where we can solve that problem without tampering with what we have achieved.
Bless up my people. Welcome back to the channel. It's your girl and Isabel Rose. Thanks to all new subscribers. Thanks to the returning subscribers. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Turn the post notification bell on. Put it on all so you won't miss an upload from me. On the road to 20k, help me to get there, my people. So in this one, my people, we're seeing where the opposition rejects a hurry-come-up bill that was, tabled to be passed in the same breath in Parliament from the Minister of Justice, Delroy Chuck, as it pertains to the office of the political ombudsman. And there was a shocker in this whole clipping where me have to show them, my people. And so right now, my people, stay tuned for the details. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Run over to my other platform. Subscribe over there, get that channel to 1K. Please and thanks. So my people know that the office of the political ombudsman was basically made redundant from November 2022, and from that time there was nobody in that post. And before me carry on, I have some people that say that post doesn't really make no sense. It's like a friend I eat a food, so to speak. But we're seeing where the political ombudsman is really needed. A person who is not in favor of any political party, a person who is non-partisan, so to speak, needs to fill that post. And so right now, my people, with the local government elections in the atmosphere, we're seeing where the Minister of Justice, Delroy Chuck, from before saying that January month now pass and them now find a political ombudsman, so to speak. And he wanted to give that post to the ECJ, which is the Electoral Commissions of Jamaica, and with them having the whole task of, the whole elections and making sure that everything runs smooth and everything run right, to put them in a spot again to give them this post. The opposition did a call from early and I say, no, they don't agree with it, right? I done a video on it before. You can check out that video there where, Fitz Jackson that tell them, so to speak, say, you better think twice. You understand? And so right now, big things in a parliament where he tabled this bill that he has come up with. The opposition even stated that sitting in parliament in that sitting was the first time they're seeing that bill. How can that be? And this is not the first time something like this has happened. But anyway, let me carry on, my people. And so he was met with objection trying to even pass the bill in the same day. I want to listen to what he was saying, the duties where I put on extra duties upon the ECJ, and Mark Golin's objection as to why he doesn't agree with it.
Similar, Mr. Speaker, the ECJ is expected to safeguard the democratic foundations of Jamaica by enabling eligible electors to elect through free and fair elections their representatives to govern Jamaica. On its face, Mr. Speaker, it is submitted that the work of the Office of the Political Ombudsman and the work of the ECJ could be appropriately described as synergistic. The proper execution of the functions of the former entity provides a more peaceful and civil landscape for the implementation of the duties of the latter. Mr. Speaker, it is also submitted that the Office of the Political Ombudsman and the ECJ are both established parliamentary commissions operating under the auspices of their respective legislation and reporting to Parliament in accordance with prescribed norms and functions. In light of the related functions, Mr. Speaker, of both entities, it is submitted that the ECJ is the entity that is most appropriately suited to undertake the responsibilities of the Office of the Political Ombudsman. But, Mr. Speaker, it is an opportune time now for the implementation of the proposed centralization of services provided by the Office of the Political Ombudsman under the auspices of the ECJ, as the independence of the Office of the Political Ombudsman would be strengthened as a result of the expansion of the Commission from one individual to the ECJ. This approach, Mr. Speaker, will allow for a more fulsome examination of the matters brought to the Office of the Political Ombudsman, as matters will be scrutinized through the individual and collective lenses of the members of the ECJ, who are required to exercise fairness and are bound by the Electoral Commission Interim Act to perform their functions within specified parameters. Mr. Speaker, it is also anticipated that this amalgamation of functions will result in institutional and financial gains to the Office of the Political Ombudsman. Mr. Speaker, the unanimous report of Parliament, this Parliament, detailing the assumption of the responsibilities of the Office of the Political Ombudsman by the ECJ was submitted to Cabinet by the Ministry of Justice, by me, Mr. Speaker, which was approved by Cabinet. Since then, the Ministry of Justice has been in contact with the commissioners and of the ECJ, who are in agreement with the assumption of these responsibilities as proposed. The Ministry of Justice has also seized the opportunity to consider how other jurisdictions manage their political processes, in particular, any complaints of misconduct or bias by government officials or political parties that may arise, as well as the penalties that are imposed in response to any breach committed. It should be noted, Mr. Speaker, that several alternative arrangements were considered and discussed with the ECJ, such as a single commissioner or the selected commissioners assuming the role of the political ombudsman. However, Mr. Speaker, the commissioners of the ECJ were firm, very firm, in their belief that the role and responsibilities of the political ombudsman is best assumed as an indivisible body, which is the full complement of the ECJ.
Mr. Speaker, I hear the words of the Minister of Justice seeking support for this bill. And the truth is that this idea of reposing the responsibilities that were vested in the Office of the Political Ombudsman under the Principal Act, reposing them in the Electoral Commission in some way, has been promoted for some time. And indeed, I believe members on this side had at times indicated that that was a good idea. But with the passage of time, I must say that, speaking for myself, I have grave misgivings about it. First of all, I'm going to speak about the process by which this bill is coming here. We have not been sent a copy of this bill. We're seeing it for the first time when it's tabled this afternoon. I don't know whether there are errors in it. It's repealing and amending numerous provisions in the Principal Act. We have seen where bills that have been pushed through here before have errors in them and are going to have to be fixed by subsequent legislation. We're seeing it with the firearms legislation, and indeed we're seeing it with the other amending bill that was tabled by the Minister with responsibility for transport today, the Road Traffic Reprieve and Nullification of Prescribed Notices Amendment Act 2024, which is seeking to correct things in the Principal Act passed a year ago, the Road Traffic Reprieve and Nullification Prescribed Notices Act 2023. So something like this should not be tabled and passed on the same day, because we should need to have a chance to look at it more carefully. Secondly, this impacts the Electoral Commission of Jamaica, and matters to do with electoral law have been approached in a bipartisan way for the last 30 or so years in this country, 40 years. For good reason, because we come from a history of intense partisanship in our politics, which has at times spilled into the realm of violence. And we have tried our best as a nation to evolve away from that. And the Electoral Advisory Committee, which has, through various iterations, become the Electoral Commission of Jamaica, which subsumes the Electoral Office of Jamaica, has built an enviable reputation for its expertise and its independence. And the reason why that has happened is because of the approach, the convention, so to speak, by which both political parties have operated in relation to that institution to try and ensure that as much as possible things proceed in a bipartisan way. Therefore, if you are going to proceed with legislation to integrate the political ombudsman's office or functions through legislation into the ECJ, surely there ought to have been some bipartisan discussion on the specific provisions that you are bringing to Parliament. There has been none. The last thing I heard about this before a week or so ago, when our representatives on the ECJ told me what was being proposed, what I'd heard before was that what was being proposed was to save costs by establishing within the Electoral Office of Jamaica a position that would be supported administratively by the existing administrative arrangements of the Electoral Office, so there would not have to be a duplication of administrative staff, and that office would play the role of the political ombudsman. Apparently that idea lost favor and morphed into the commissioners themselves becoming the political ombudsman. And as I said before, I think the process that is being followed is wrong. I do not think we should be seeking to pass this bill today. I think we should have proper discussions about it and a period of time to reflect on whether or not it's going down the right path. From a substantive point of view, my misgivings are that the Electoral Commission has achieved a level of stature in the society, even internationally, because it is perceived as being independent and out of the fray. And it takes its decisions not by favoring any political party, but in the interest of fairness and efficiency of the electoral system. And that is a very valuable reputation to have developed. That stature should not be diluted, or we shouldn't play games with it. By investing these responsibilities in the ECJ, they are now going to have to adjudicate like a quasi-judicial body on matters that will be intensely in dispute between partisans in the political process. And that is now changing the character of the ECJ by giving them functions which are completely inconsistent with the detached, independent and objective aura that they have enjoyed for so long, where they have the nominated representatives and the selected representatives. The two political parties have, I think, 2 representatives on the commission each, and then there are the independent persons or persons of repute, and indeed the way they are appointed by the Governor-General, there is a consultation process between the Prime Minister and the Leader of the Opposition, so that we typically would enjoy, whoever's there as an independent body are those the nominated representatives. The nominated representatives typically enjoy the trust and confidence of both political parties because of the way in which that convention has worked. So I think this is going down a dangerous and wrong path. I do not think that the ECJ commissioners should take on this function of being an adjudicatory body on political disputes in the heat of election campaigns. That is completely inconsistent with the way in which they have operated in the past. And I don't think we should be going down this route. That's my own view. Secondly, what I've heard the minister say is that they are to function as a political ombudsman as an indivisible body. Now, I believe there are 9 ECJ commissioners. 9. This is like the US Supreme Court, which has 9 justices on it when it sits. Does that mean that when a dispute has to be adjudicated, all 9 have to be present? There are no regulations governing the procedure for the adjudication of these matters. This piece of legislation doesn't have anything in it about the adjudication procedure that they will be obliged to follow to comply with the rules of natural justice, but also to allow them to operate with some efficiency, given that there are 9 of them. If 1 is absent, does that mean a hearing can't be held? Or 2? There are no procedures to govern how they operate, and it should not come here without those procedures being part of it, because those procedures will themselves be contentious, or could be, and ought to be something that there is bipartisan support for. This bill here says nothing about how this indivisible body of 9 commissioners will operate in practice and in law when a matter comes before them where 2 or more persons in the political fray have had a dispute of one sort or another in the heat of the electoral process. So I don't think this is ready. I don't think it's a good idea, and I cannot support it. The process is wrong. We were not involved in the development of this bill. We never had a chance to look at it. We do not know if it has errors or not. And in principle, I think it's going down a dangerous route. And I acknowledge, Minister, that in the past we may have supported this idea. But with the passage of time and the discussions that we've had, especially recently internally at our executive and so on, we have a grave concerns that this is not the right approach to be taking. And I don't like the idea of us having a difference of view in this forum on a matter like this, because that's not how we've operated in relation to the ECJ in the past. So it really pains me to having to be saying these things. But I have no alternative, because I hold these views strongly, and I think I'm right in principle, and I have to articulate my position on it. So, Mr. Speaker, I cannot support this legislation, either because from the point of view of the process by which it got here, which is deeply flawed, and because substantively I think it's a wrong approach. It's a dangerous approach, and it will not inure to the benefit of Jamaica's electoral system. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
And so here's the twist to it now, my people. Not just the opposition aspect of it that rejected this, bill, but a former government minister as well opposed to this bill as to giving the role of the political ombudsman to the ECJ. And this is Carl Samuda, who is one of the longest serving lawmakers, who also sat on the Electoral Advisory Committee and its successor body for 11 years, warned the government against tampering with the Electoral Commission of Jamaica. Take a listen.
And I know how difficult and trying it has been over these years to have both sides come to a common understanding and agreement. And we, I think, have reached that point, and we are an example to the world. At no stage was the question of the ombudsman being a part of the ECJ seriously contemplated on the basis that we are going to have an election soon. I urge the minister to take a good look at that. I urge him to take a good look at that. Because things that are done in this way have a way of becoming permanent. So I would like to know from him today, is it intended that this fix is to form the basis on which we go forward with the Electoral Commission of Jamaica? That's what I want to know. Because if it is, then it needs a complete recalibration of the concept around which the Electoral Commission was founded. This is arguably the most far-reaching. It's one of the most important institutions of not only Jamaica, but the entire hemisphere. It is not an institution that can take tinkering. We have gained a reputation. It has made Jamaica proud to speak. We have been invited throughout the world to demonstrate to the world the success that we have achieved. And I do not buy the idea that we are in a hurry because we are having an election. Mechanisms can be found with creative minds and well-thinking people where we can solve that problem without tampering with what we have achieved.
And my take on this aspect of it, my people, I don't think this bill need to be rushed. Right? They know months ahead of time that the local government election would have been due this year and this time around. It has been put off so many times already. And for uno come a month before and I try hurry come up it, it don't make no sense to me. And why a independent person, so to speak, can't get the role as before. Why ECJ have to get that role. But wanna make me know what you think, my people. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel. Go over to my other platform, Instagram and Facebook, and follow me over there at Anisabel Rose. Check out the YouTube store, make a purchase, it goes in support of the channel. Check out the YouTube membership, you get a lot of benefits by becoming a member. We do notification shout out in each and every video to be a part of that. All you have to do is be the first to like, comment and subscribe, and you'll be featured in the following video to come. This notification shout out goes to Winnie Mead. Big up yourself, Miss Winnie Mead. Thanks for the continued support from each and every subscriber. New viewers, come on board, journey with me, join the family. Subscribe to the channel, like up the videos, share out the videos. Support the ABR movement on the road to 20K. Help me to get there by playing your part. Get this video to at least 500 likes. Stay tuned for more updates. Stay tuned for more videos. Big up on yourself.